legendary photographer, world-renowned Don Miralle, and he does some incredible stuff. He has documented the Ironman World Championship with cameras over the last 19 years. I mean, think about that. The entire 2000s he's been at it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you said it, 19 years he's been at it. And we turned our camera onto Donald to share a bit of his story and show you what goes into documenting this epic day in sport. Check this out.
My love of the ocean definitely translates into shooting Ironman, and especially in Hawaii. There's been times where I've been in that underwater shot and I've been completely like in my element, and I've seen things that other people haven't seen because of that. You're sitting there with all this scuba gear on, two big rigs. You look at these fish and these dolphins going by you, and they're where they're supposed to be. We're just visitors in their backyard. You gotta have that respect, and you have to have just that experience to know how to handle different situations. I was an art major at UCLA, and I did more painting and sculpture. And I took a photography class, and it literally clicked. Rather than sitting over a canvas for like 50 hours, you had a split second, you either had it or not, you know? And right out of college, I got a job at All Sport Photography, which was the largest sports photography agency at the time. I've pretty much covered every major sporting event in the last 25 years. So I've covered 9 Olympics. Tokyo next year in 2021 will be number 10. I've covered about 15 Super Bowls, World Series, maybe 25 majors in golf, and shot probably the top athletes in the world for the top brands. And then I do a lot of stuff for Nat Geo Adventure, where I'm out in nature and adventuring in the middle of nowhere. And I've been pretty fortunate in my career to see and do a lot. 2000 was my first Kona experience. And I remember just going there, just being blown away by like how rad of an event it was. There's that energy in there at the start that's palpable. You could really feel it, the adrenaline, and just how important it is for everyone to come up to that starting line and everything they needed to do to get there. You know, not necessarily everyone's going to finish, but it's a hell of an accomplishment getting to that start line. Ironman for me has always been one of the more rewarding events to shoot. First time 20 years ago when I did that underwater shot, you know, and it's kind of been a you know, staple for me to get that shot every year. And I remember going underwater, getting in place, and just seeing that like sparked you know, an interest in me in the place and the people. You know, Hawaii is just an amazing island. It's just, you know, seeing the lava fields, seeing just the topography, so unique. You know, it's a very unique place. I don't think there's any place on the planet that's like it, and to have it as the backdrop of this event just makes it really, really special. You know, as a photographer, I got to worry about, you know, sea, land, air, you know, and then obviously the finish line, and then the finish at midnight, and all that stuff. So there's just a lot of pieces to the puzzle. My day starts off by 4 a.m.
Morning, Rock.
Then I get in the water about 5:30 or so, and I start getting, you know, the pros getting ready, warming up, and then go out. I kick out maybe 100 meters to the start, and then I kind of just sit underwater, and there's about, you know, 20 or 30 minutes when I'm just underwater and it's all quiet. You just hear all the commotion above you, and you see all these feet kicking, and it's just kind of a nice, quiet moment before all the madness starts. Last year's prep was a little different because I had multiple rigs underwater because I had to shoot the still and the video portion for the TV program. So for one start, I shot, you know, stills, and then for the next shot, I shot video. And so I had to capture 2 different things and switch gears up, which made it a little more difficult because you know, you're thinking 2 different mindsets. You're thinking video, where you have to follow the action and you have to really be steady, and you have to think about motion, and then there's the photo side of it where you're just freezing one thing and thinking about exposure and sharpness of it. I could shoot, you know, a drone, launch it from the safe area we choose from, and get all those aerials pretty quickly. And then I jump into my moto gear and I go. It's a really physically demanding job. I don't think everyone can do it, and I don't think everyone can do it kind of the way I do it, where go from underwater to being on the back of a bike for 6 hours. It's hard on your back, it's hard on your arms, it's hard on your mind, and yeah, there's a physical challenge aspect to it, focused on getting the angle or getting the shot or getting my camera into the position to get the shot. So being physically fit and mentally fit is utmost importance. If I'm not mentally ready and confident in my skills and like how I feel in my body at that point, then I probably won't be able to do what I do. It's a mix of planning and preparation meets luck. So if I do things correctly, I'm going to put myself in the best position with the best backdrop and framing and an area where I think things are going to happen. In 2016, I always set myself up at the bottom of the bay, setting up for that underwater shot, getting there early, you know, making sure my camera and everything's all lined up and everything's working properly. And looking up this time, in the corner of my eye, I see a hanu, green turtle, passing through the frame. And it kind of startled me because I've seen it before and after, but not right at the start. And this little guy passed right in front of me like he knew who I was, and he cruised into my frame. And I remember thinking to myself, okay, make sure you get this sharp, make sure you get it properly exposed. And in the back of my mind, I just thought, oh yeah, that's all ready, I just got to capture it. Whether you're a photographer or you work in the stock market or you're Ironman, it's all the same. Giving yourself the best shot to get a shot.
I have to say, new favorite moment of the week so far. What a great spot. And look at this. We now have Donald Miralle himself, along with our good friend, Greg Welch. You too. Come on. That was a great spot, guys. I loved it. Welchie, tell us how you know Donald, and welcome to the show.
Yeah, well, I've known Donnie for a long time, and when you talk about people who can paint the picture and bring things to life, well, no one does it any better in our sport than well, there's a couple of them out there, but I think that Donnie in Hawaii does it the best, and he puts a lot of time into it, as you saw in the clip there. That it's not just you go out and hang some GoPros on the front of your camera that's going underwater, your underwater housing or anything, but a lot of thought goes into it. But Donnie's absolutely incredible, and we're paddling friends. We've done numerous races up and down the California coast. We've paddled the Molokai to Oahu race together from the islands, just on the other side of the Big Island, obviously. But more importantly, he steals all my waves where we surf just about every out day.
As he should, as he should.
Sharing is caring, Welchie. Love you, buddy.
Well, I tell you what, Welchie, you take it away. We're going to let you share this interview with us, and we're excited to listen in.
Yeah, look, I'm just thrilled, to be chatting with you today, Donnie. A good friend of mine, but not just because you're a great guy, but you're incredibly talented at what you do. But you also share the same passion as me, and that is the Kona and the Ironman World Championship, and it shows in your photography, mate. So, this would have been your 20th year, Donnie, shooting Kona. So after 2 decades of covering the race, you seem to be excited, as passionate as ever about this. So, what is it about this race that still captures, your imagination after all these years?
Well, I mean, that's a great question. I think every time I come to Kona, it's almost like it's the first time I'm there again. And the Hawaiian Islands in general for me are really a special place. You set foot on there and you just feel the energy and the mana in the island. And everyone who's been there knows what I'm talking about. From the second I get to Hawaii, I feel my energy and my battery getting recharged. And the second I leave, I already look forward to coming back. So I mean, after going there for 20 years for Ironman, and I've probably been there maybe 40 or 50 times for things for surfing competitions, golf tournaments, paddleboard races, other things. every time I go there, I just it's really like the first time I'm setting foot on the islands again. And also, I mean, how else could you not be excited to spend a week in paradise with some of the world's best athletes? You know what I mean? Like, um, and just all the anticipation you feel in the air, it's palpable on race week. And that covering Kona, the World Championships is something. If I could do it for the rest of my life, you know what I mean? As long as my body will allow me to do it, I'll do it.
I think it will. You take very good care of your body. And Donnie, we're just getting a glimpse of all the shots that you've provided Ironman over the years, over 19 years. And, it's incredible to think that, you get in, when you do on the week of the race, and there's so many things happening. What are your favorite things to do, race week, and why?
Well, there's that another there, because there's just so many great pre-events to the big race. I love the under run. I just that's one of the first things I shoot. That race week is a couple hundred chiseled athletes around in their underwear, and that's always a great way to start off. The Aloha Reception, where we get to see last year's winners and also see who gets inducted in the Hall of Fame. That's always a cool evening. The pro press conference, when you see all the athletes just ready to go, and you can see it in their eyes that they're ready to jump in the bay and start the swim. And then I also get to take portraits of the athletes for Ironman, which is really fun and special. But I think if I had to pick one, I would have to say the foundation athletes, getting to meet them and their amazing stories. It gives me goosebumps every time. Like, just seeing what these individuals had to do to get to the start line. That's just inspirational. That's what it's all about, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Well said, Donnie. One of the things that I take from you, obviously, is that you're a great swimmer yourself, paddler, but you're a good water polo player, and I think that you could teach these pro athletes a thing or two at the start line, how to do the egg beater kick. Keeping up.
I get as far to the edge as possible, and
try not to get
run.
Out of the,
try not to get running or get out of the shoot fast. Yeah.
Look, you really do capture some of the really most powerful emotional moments of athletes, really digging deep out there on the Kona course. But what have been some of your most meaningful interactions of moments with the athletes on the course?
Yeah, you see I feel like Kona in general, and especially when you're going to the lava fields and the energy lab, you see some of these athletes at their best and their worst. You see people, finding the next level, and you see people, fall apart. And as a photojournalist, I try not to, at times interact. I try just to document and be there and be present. But there are times where you communicate with athletes, or you see something happening, and it's amazing. I mean, from the first time I saw Peter Reed and Natasha Badman cross the finish line in 2000 to Jan and Anne last year. There's been so many great moments. I mean, some that just popped to mind is I think in 2015, Jan crossing the finish line, and he looked up, and gave one of those at the finish line, and I had a camera up there. He didn't know the camera was up there, talking to him about it later on, but that was the moment I was looking for, was someone looking up, when they came across the finish line, and just the exhilaration and the jubo of that after miles of work. And another great moment I remember just off the top of my head is Rudy Garcia Tolson in 2010, trying to become the first above knee double leg amputee to finish Kona, and following him along and coming through the bike transition. And I remember him just asking me, whether or not he was going to make the cutoff, and I just said, hey buddy, just keep on going. You're almost there, and he didn't make the cutoff, but then 9 years later, Roderick last year became the first, and having Rudy at the finish line to congratulate him, his good friend, and it's full circle. This thing came full circle, and that was amazing. And just some of the battles, I've seen out there, like McCormick and Rayliart, Frodeno and Kinley and Rinnie and Daniela in 2014, and seeing the records broken, and by Jan and Anne the last couple of years, that and just seeing, beautiful things like the Hanu passing overhead, at the start between the swimmers and I. Just quiet moments like that are things I'll remember forever.
Yeah, exactly, Donnie. And you've got to have great imagination. But one of the things that I really do admire about you and respect about you is that you already said it, is that you read the mind of an athlete, when to get in there and take a shot and when not to get in there and take a shot. And I think that that's the trust that, as a photojournalist, you earn that respect with those athletes, so they'll allow you to come and grab that shot too. And the Honu shot was amazing, but one of my all-time favorites from you is when you get yourself in that lava tube, or you actually get yourself below the surface of the Queen Kahumanu Highway and you're shooting up, and not too many people can actually hop off their moto, jump into the lava fields and that very, very sharp volcanic rock with all the gear and get those shots. So well done. And I've got a shot today. This is one of my favorite shots that you gave me, and I'll just do it briefly because we're shooting the Masters at the time, and you shot one of my good Aussie friends, Adam Scott. So thank you for my photo. But Donnie, just one more question for you, buddy. E Ola Mau, and it's just keep on living. During the pandemic and everything. What is your thoughts behind our theme and mantra for this year?
Yeah, E Ola Mau, just keep living. Welchie, this year has been like no other in our history. Between global pandemic, civil unrest, climate change, economic depression, all these things going on, and we're in some of our most unique and scary times that I've seen, as a 46-year-old. But you have to keep in mind, keep moving forward, keep going, and most importantly, do it together, unified and not divided, And there's a I guess it was last week, Surfer Magazine just published their last magazine after 60 years of Bible for surfers. And you're a surfer yourself, so I'm sure you've read the magazine before. But the cover of the magazine says, we're in this all together. We're in this together. And that's how I feel about just keep on living. Is you got to keep moving forward and stay positive. And we're in this together, mate. We're all in this together.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Donnie, and thanks for those great words today. You've captured the imagination of all photographers. You've painted the canvas, as we say, time and time again, and how to put it all together away from words, but into photography. So well done. As Donnie rushes off to pay his internet bill, I'm going to throw it back to you guys, Steve and Michael. Great, was one of my favorite people. He works hard, man. He works so hard.
Oh, thank you so much, both of you. Great to see you and fantastic work. I have to say, one thing that impacted me watching that, Didi, was just his true passion, understanding, love, and appreciation for the sport, because the images show it, but he loves it. The guy breathes it, all sports, but ours in particular. So wonderful.
Yeah, amazing. And I think what struck me the most is the physicality of it. I mean, you think about taking a picture. Most of us do it, with our phones or something like that. And yes, he's got fancy equipment and all, but the physicality of his job, and Greg touched on it, jumping off a moto into the lava fields, being below water for that much time, it's so impressive.